Wow. I guess we're allowed to make speeches with absolutely no sleep. Is that right? Are we? You may hear some very bad things coming out. I just came in from Iowa. We love you too. We love you too. And they said, you know what we can do? We can cancel New Hampshire, Mr. Trump, and you can stay. And I said, well, how big a crowd? Full house. I said, there's no way we're canceling. So I'm going here, and I'm going right back. I'm going right back. But, last night we had an exciting night because I did something that was a little bit unusual. The fact is, and I said it, and, I have a very good relationship with Fox, but when somebody doesn't treat you properly, you got to be tough. You got to be strong. You can't let them push you around. And that it goes for the country. When you're not treated properly, you have to stick up for your rights. And if I'm your leader, we're going to stick up for the rights of the country. We're not going to let like the 10 sailors 2 weeks ago where they're in a begging position with their hands up, and then Kerry is trying to say like it's normal. It's not normal. It's called you fix the boat, you shift them back up. You don't make a big deal out of it. So for 2 days, and they're sitting on their knees, and they're kneeling, and they have their hands up, and they have guns at their heads. It's not going to happen anymore, folks. Let me tell you, it's not going to happen anymore. And the only reason we got them back is we're giving them $150 billion the following day. $150 billion. That deal is so sad. So one thing I can't do, I would have done something it would have been so different. Number one, we would have had our hostages back long before we started. And I went into that. It would have been very easy because we wouldn't have started unless they gave them back. And then we would have doubled up the sanctions. You know the story. We would have got them back. 100%. Number two, I would have never given them the $150 billion. Other than that, we would have had a fine negotiation. But the sad part is I'll go in and I can never get that money back. And do you see where they're spending the money? They're spending it in Europe. They put money into Italy. They're spending it in Russia for missiles. I didn't know they were allowed to do missiles, right? They're not supposed to do missiles. But they're spending it everywhere but the United States. So they're buying 118 Airbus planes. They're made in Europe, right? They're not buying Boeings. Why are they allowed to buy Airbus planes, okay? We are run by stupid people, folks, and it's going to end. It's going to end. So last night was amazing. I'll talk about it for a couple of seconds. You notice I don't use teleprompters, right? No teleprompters. This means we can do current events. There's Big Al. Stand up, Al. My vet. I love my vet. He's the best guy. He's the best guy, I'll tell you. He's a dedicated guy. He's a good man. And he probably liked me even more. He likes me anyway. But last night I raised $6 million for the vets. What?
Money is coming to New Hampshire to the homeless veteran shelter.
Well, we'll be doing that soon now.
It was on your list, I tell you.
Yeah, good. We're going to be doing that soon. So, we spent a lot of time up in New Hampshire with the vets, and Al has been helping us a lot and some of Al's friends, and it's been amazing. And you have a big vet problem up here. The vets are not treated right. Illegal immigrants are treated better than our vets in many cases. That can't happen. So it can't happen. What happened last night, though, was amazing because I wasn't treated right. I did something that was very risky, and I think it turned out great because I'm on the front page of every paper. I'm getting more publicity than if I don't know. And I had an amazing soldier last night, John, who you saw get up, and John Wayne, we call him. And he got up and he made an amazing speech. He lost his leg. He was a real guy and is a real guy. And he talked about the vets and talked about the problems and talked about what he went through and how hard it was. And when he left, they gave him a whole big box of pills and they say, good luck. And he didn't know what to do. And he gave, I don't know if you got to see it last night, but it was an amazing story of how difficult it is. And now he's in great shape. He has a fantastic family and wife. They got him through it, but it was a tough time for him. And the way he explained it, I've never heard it explained that way. Not even Al explained it that good, I had to tell you. So, Al, you're going to have to take lessons. I'm going to send you to meet him. But he was really fantastic, and it was an incredible evening. And This way, we made our point, and Fox was very nice. They very much wanted me for the debate, and they tried very much. And I wanted to do it, frankly. I actually asked them, I said, give $5 million to the vets, and I'll consider it. And they probably had a hard time doing that, maybe. But and I understand that. But I said, give $5 million, make a donation, $5 million to the vets, and I'll come and do your debate. And they were really unable psychologically to do that. And I said, that's okay. We went out and raised $6 million, which is fantastic. So it worked out. So it all works out. It all works out. You know, so we have a big day coming up. We have number one, we have February 1st. I think we're going to do really well in Iowa. I think we're going to even surprise. We're leading in the Iowa polls now, and leading pretty good. And Cruz, who's in second place, he got really pummeled last night. Actually, I'm glad I wasn't there because I guess all of that, he got pummeled. Wow. And you know, they didn't even mention that he was born in Canada, right? You know, it's when you're born in Canada, you're not supposed to be running for president of the United States. Prime Minister of Canada, no problem. No. He can run for Canada. There he is. That's right. He can run Prime Minister of Canada, no problem. But so he got beaten up pretty badly last night. I don't know what's going to happen to his poll numbers, but probably they're not going up. And I was just told that ours went up because of what we did last night. Isn't that something? You know, it tells you a little bit about risk, because risk is interesting. You know, in theory, I would have rather have done the debate because you're leading. You don't want to change the wheels, right? You want to just go, get it done, win, and go to the next one. And I took a chance. I mean, I took a chance, and it's something you have to do, but I took a chance, and we did something. And I don't even know what the end result. I heard we went up, but whatever the result is, I did the right thing. I did the right thing because I did something great for veterans. And when you think of it, these politicians are on that debate. Most of them don't know what they're doing. They're talking, and we're raising money for incredible people, especially when you heard John last night. So there was something really nice about it, and it could not have been better. It was a 10. You know, as they say, when something works out, it was a 10. And I didn't know it was going to be a 10. I'll tell you what, I started getting good feelings when I went to the arena. It was a beautiful theater, but it only held 750 people. We had thousands of people outside, thousands. And when you see that kind of, what would you call love? I mean, really love. It was a great feeling. So we had an amazing time. I just want to show you numbers just came out because I love to talk about polls. I always say when you're number one, you talk. And all the time these politicians, they ask me, why do you always mention polls? I say, because I'm number one and you're number 7. You know, it's true. True. Here's Drudge. By the way, he's an amazing guy, Drudge. But they have a poll. Choice for president. Last night, came out late last night. Trump, 65%. Believe that? 65. Cruz is 17. Rubio's 6. And I won't even mention the other one. He's so low. Oh. Let me give you a hint. He spent about $125 million so far on the debate. He likes Common Core, and he's weak on the border. Remember, they come in as an act of love, right? How do you spend $100 and some odd million and you're at the bottom of the pack? How do you do that? You spend $100 and some odd million. I could give that money to you. Where's somebody? I could give it to anybody. I can pick many people out that do a lot better than this, right? With that kind of money. Time magazine has a poll. Trump 53%. Rubio 12. Cruz 7. Slate has a poll. Trump 46, 18, 13. I mean, these are amazing polls. National poll, CNN has been great, 41, 19. Zogby has been actually great, 45, 13. I mean, these polls are great. Now, we got to get back to the important stuff here. New Hampshire, right? This just came out. In New Hampshire, we're leading 34-16. We're leading 36-12. 36-12. In Florida, we have 48-20. Florida. Come on, New Hampshire, let's get with it. 48. 48. I mean, 48 is serious stuff. So we have a lot of great polls. Fox News in New Hampshire, 31-14, and 31-14 and 13. So we should be in really great shape. Yeah, and we're leading nicely in Iowa now. I see an Iowa poll just came out, 34 to 23 to 12. So it's really great. So, but it all doesn't matter if you don't go and vote. And, you know, you got to go out and vote. We got to, no matter what. I kid when I say this, but you may be feeling badly. Your wife may have said, I don't want to be with you anymore, I'm out. Or your husband. It does happen the other way too, right? The husband could say, I'm out of here. No matter what it is, you may have lost your job. You may be in a state of major, major depression. Get up and vote. I will get rid of your depression. You'll be happy. You'll be happy. You're in depression because you can't get jobs anymore in this country that are any good. So we'll lift that depression, but you got to get out and vote. So important. On the 9th, in your case. So we start on the 1st in Iowa. That's going to be a big thing with the caucus. I'm going to be out there. Actually, right. I went from there to here, and now I'm going back. How loyal is that to New Hampshire? Seriously. Do I get points? That's true. Do I get points? My people said, no, you shouldn't mention that. I said, shouldn't I mention it? They said, no, you shouldn't mention that, Mr. Trump. That's, you know, a little bit not nice. I am going to mention it. I mean, everyone said, don't do it. They'll understand. They could have called you last night. It's been canceled. I just felt guilty. I felt guilty. That's why when somebody like Jeb Bush, who spent $100 and some odd million, and he's low in the polls, I've spent almost nothing and I'm high. Isn't that a beautiful thing? That's what the country needs, right? That's what the country needs. But see, now I'm changing it. Now I'm changing. I have to tell you, I'm changing because two things. Number one, I feel guilty. The press keeps saying, why do you spend so little money? I said, because I'm number one. And, you know, it's funny. I get so much airtime that I was supposed to have spent up until this date exactly $40 million. And I spent like peanuts. Peanuts. So I'm like $36 million under budget or something, right? And I think that's great. You know, as business people, we have a lot of business people in this room, a lot of young people that are smart. But it's something beautiful about that. You know, in the old days, there was a man named Charles O. Finley. Anybody ever hear of him? Charles O., right? Baseball. He owned the Oakland A's. He had the lowest payroll in baseball by far. And he had the best team. Won the World Series 3 times, right? And I said, boy, this guy knows, 76, 77, 78. And who bought all his players? George Steinbrenner, right? Steinbrenner used to Reggie Jackson, Catfish Hunter. And George was a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends. He was a difficult guy, but he was a great guy. And he said, boy, that guy's crazy. He would just get this player from nowhere. Guy turns out to be a superstar, and then I pay him millions. But he, you know, it was good for the Yankees, and it was good for Charles O. But there's something beautiful about that. We're number one in the world on education in terms of cost per pupil, right? And we're number 28 in the world in terms of the quality education. We have third world countries that are much better than us. You have Norway, you have Sweden, you have China, you have certain countries that are number 1, 2, and 3, but we are number 28, okay? And yet we're number one by far per pupil. And when you have Common Core, where your children are being educated from Washington, what do these people know about the people and the children of New Hampshire? They don't know. And I see women, I met, 2 weeks ago I was up here, and I met women that are just involved with their school, their local school. The dedication, and actually 2 of them, their sons had graduated and their daughter had graduated. And they were telling me it doesn't matter. They love it. They love doing it. You know, their kids are gone. They still have a good feeling for the school because they love their kids. And even though the kids are now in college, but they were showing and how the parents are so involved. You can't do that from Washington. You can't do it from Washington. It's called the dumbing down of America. Well, it is. I mean, it is. And by the way, the folks in Washington, they make plenty of money. They're worried about that. Now, some are good. I mean, some are very nice people, I'm sure, but you got to do it locally. So Common Core is a bad thing. Borders, good thing. Second Amendment, good thing. Great thing. How about great thing, okay? So we're going to help you out on your Second Amendment because we're not going to be touching it. You know, they keep taking pieces and chunks, and you need that. When you look at what went on in Paris, where you're not allowed, Paris is the greatest because you're not allowed a gun, right? You can't have a gun in Paris. So this is your ultimate example. You cannot have a gun in Paris, in France, one of the toughest nations in the world, toughest city in the world, I think, for guns. Well, the bad guys have the guns. So they walk in, and they did the magazine a year before, by the way. But they walk into this place,